Hi, I'm Amina Wasuma, and I'm here to talk about my novella, For the Love of Blood, Episode 6, Something's Got to Give. Now, we left off with Amber bandaging Blood's head up because Chang just pistol whipped him. And she offered him a chance to get a job. And so she wrote a check for $1,500 so he can go buy some suits because he said he had no money. And she left the apartment because she's leaving town for a week to go to Washington to do this big modeling job. So Blood is sitting there sniffing his coke and drinking his liquor. And he's just remembering, all the times that he could have changed his life, but he didn't. And he has a flashback of when he is in Mississippi and the Klan is chasing him. They've killed his mom already, and they're chasing him. And he goes to Sadie's house, and he gives her $50, and he tells her he has to leave Mississippi, and he can't marry her, and he'll never see her again. And he can't write any letters or send anybody to come get her because the Klan is watching the post office, and they're watching who comes into town and who goes out. And to tell the Klan when they come to her house that she hadn't seen him. So she gives him he gives her $50 and he leaves, and he catches the Greyhound bus and he goes to Kentucky. Well, in Kentucky, he gets off the bus, he walks around, and the sheriff stops him because they got like a telegram with his description, and they arrest him. And he says, on what charge? And they tell him, well, the guy Homer that you cut died. And so we have to take you in. So they take him in, and he stands before a judge. Now, he doesn't even get due process. He's like 17 now, and he stands before a judge, and the judge condemns him to 3 years in the Louisiana juvenile detention. And then after the 3 years he does there, he will go to the state penitentiary for 7 years. So he goes, and he really is treated like a king for the first 3 years in the juvenile hall because he boxes, and the guards bet on him, and they win. So he's really treated really well. He has one incident, only one, whereas, no, this happened. The incident that he has happens when he goes to the adult prison. But in the juvenile prison, he doesn't have any incidents because he fights, and, he wins, and they treat him like a king. So he leaves. At 3 years, he gets his diploma, and, he's really a good prisoner, but he doesn't get let out. And so they sent him to 7 years in the Louisiana State Adult Correctional Center. So the first time he goes in, the first day he goes in, and they want him to take a shower. He's in the shower, and this adult African-American male, big bouncer-looking kind of man, tries to rape him in the shower. And Blood, beats him mercilessly. Breaks his jaw, you know, beats his eyes in until his eyes close up and he can't even see. And the guard stands outside and doesn't do anything. So when he knocks the guy out, so he, takes his shower and puts his clothes on, the clothes that they give him, the uniform, and he knocks on the door and he tells the guy, you better go in there and see about this guy because he slipped and fell. And the guard says nothing. He just says, okay, well, let me take you to your cell and, I'll send somebody to take him to the infirmary. So he does his time there, and he gets out. But before he gets out, Cisco is put in his cell. And Cisco came from New York, and he was on vacation in Louisiana, and he was shooting crap with a policeman a sheriff in plain clothes, actually. And he won. And the sheriff accused him of cheating and threw him in jail. So he was just spending a year. This is how he didn't get due process either. So he was just spending a year in the penitentiary with Blood. Also, Blood meets Hector. Now, Hector's boss is a South American drug lord named Banderos. Hector happened to be passing through, making a drug delivery, and he got caught. And so he's waiting to be expedited back to Colombia. Well, we'll see about that. When he gets back to Colombia, is he going to, serve time? But he meets Blood, and he tells Blood, I'll hook you up, and, when you get out, just contact me if you ever need anything. Because, Blood befriended him. Some guys were trying to jump him, and Blood beat him off. So Hector felt as if he owed him. So Hector got expedited back to Colombia, and Cisco and Blood became very close. And Cisco said, well, why don't you come up to New York? When I get out, we're going to get out about the same time, because this was Blood's last year when Cisco came in. He said, I can have, my pal Soupy come and pick us up and put us on a plane and take us back to Harlem, New York. So Blood said, that's where I wanted to come all along. I wanted to bring my mom, but, the Klan killed her. So he said, well, I got a new life for you. Come to New York with me and, have success. So Blood said, okay. So when they get out, Soupy's there to pick them up and drive them to the airport. They get on the plane, all three of them, and they fly to New York. And they come to Harlem, to the stash. When they enter, Jonesy is there, and he has a surprise party for Cisco. Welcome home, Cisco. And the lights come on, and Blood and Cisco come in. Well, there's Deanna, there's Betty, and another young lady. I think her name is Danielle. But anyway, no, it's Danielle. No, it's D. It's D. It's Betty, Deanna, and D. That's who it is. And they take Blood, because Blood has never had coke. He's never had alcohol. He didn't drink. He He didn't do any of those vices. All he did was gamble and box. So they take him in the room and they have an orgy with him. And they give him the coke and they give him the liquor and, and all three of them have an orgy with him. And so the next day, Betty gives him her key. She leaves a note with her key in it. And they all have a thank you card that they give him. And Soupy comes in and says, "Oh, did you enjoy your night?" He said, "Yeah, I never had 3 women at one time." And so he says, "Well, I got a job for you to do." He says, "Like what?" "So we're going to do supermarket stick-ups. There's a lot of money in it." And so Blood says, "Oh, okay." He said, "You got a new life. Forget about down south. This is New York, Harlem. We run things up here." I said, "Wow." So he comes out of his flashback, and he's sitting there sniffing the coke. And he's realizing, I got to change my life now. Something's got to give. I can't keep doing this. But what? This is all I know. So the next day, he goes to sleep. The next day he wakes up, gets ready, he goes to Amber's bank, he cashes the check, and he comes back uptown, and he gets into a crap game with some guys, and he gambles the whole $1,500 away. Okay. What's he going to do now? Now he goes to Chang. Chang is like, "What do you want? I told you I didn't want to see you." And so he tells Chang, "Please, Chang, give me another chance. I need these streets. I don't know what else to do. Just, I won't do it again. I won't make a mistake. I won't play with the gun anymore, around your brothers or you." And so Chang says, "Okay, this is what I want you to do. And this is a rite of passage here. I got this drug dealer who's been cutting my coke, Underwood, and I need you to put a hit on him. I need you to actually go tonight and kill him. And you and my brother, EJ, will go with you. And once you do this, then I know you're sincere about coming back and working for me and being on the streets." So Blood said, "Anything, I'll do anything." He said, "I'll pay you." He said, "I'll give you $5,000. Okay, $2,500 now, and I'll give you $2,500 when you finish the job." So Chang goes in his pockets and pulls out the money and gives Blood the $2,500, and him and EJ leave. And Baby James says to Chang, "Why would you give him all that money? You really, trust him?" And Chang says, "Don't worry about it. He's going to spend every last dime with me. Because I got some coke that's so pure that he's not going to be able to help himself. So I'm going to get every dime back. Plus, Underwood will be dead." So Blood and EJ get in the car. They drive to, I think it's Mount Morris Park. Yeah. No, it's Morningside Park. I'm sorry. Anyway, Underwood is sitting in the car with his girlfriend, Rosie. And they're making out and kissing and, necking. And Blood gets out of the car. EJ gets out of the car. And Blood goes to the driver's side because Underwood is sitting in the driver's side, and he shoots Underwood in the head. Kills him. EJ is on the passenger side, and Rosie sees him. And she starts yelling, "Don't kill me, don't kill me. EJ, don't kill me." And he shoots her 6 times in the head. So Blood says, "Did you have to kill her?" And he said, "Yeah, she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and she recognized me. And we can't have any witnesses." So they get in the car, and they drive back to Chang's, the penny arcade. And so Chang says, "Oh, you're back?" "Yeah." And so Blood says, "I come back to get the rest of my money." So Chang looks at EJ and said, "Well, did he do the job?" And EJ said, "Yeah, he shot Underwood. Underwood is dead." And he doesn't say anything to him about Rosie. Doesn't say anything to Chang about Rosie. So Blood doesn't say anything either. And so Chang goes in his pocket, gives Blood the $2,500. So that's $5,000 right there. So Blood says, "Oh, I need some, cocaine real bad. I don't have any." So Chang says, "Well, I got $2,500 worth. It's pure." Blood says, "I'll take it." He gives Chang the $2,500. But now he's got $2,500 in his pocket. But how long is that going to last with that cocaine habit? So he gives it to Chang, and he leaves, And before he leaves, he tells Chang, "You know what? I'm going to go back and do stick-ups again. I think I would make it, I think that's a better profession for me." And Chang said, "Well, okay, I'm cool with it. We all right. That's what you want to do, go ahead." And so he takes the coke, and he leaves. And he goes in the den, and guess who's there? Deanna. "Baby, I haven't seen you in a while, and I heard Amber went out of town." And so he said, "Yeah, how did you know?" He said, "Well, Soupy told me. She went out of town on a big job. So while the cat's away, the mouse is out to play." And so she says, "Well, how about me and you go back to the stash, hang out?" And he says, "Well, okay, And they go back to the stash together, and they start sniffing coke, and they make passionate love. And she likes, "Give me another blow of that coke. I perform better, And she's sniffing, and he's sniffing, and they're having sex while they're doing it. But the next day comes. Amber is in Washington. Now, she didn't bring any drugs with her. She's doing a modeling shoot, and she's like sweating, and it's about, her Jones is coming down, and she doesn't have any drugs with her. And so she gets through the shoot pretty okay. And that night, she calls the bar looking for blood. And the bartender tells her, he's not in. He was here, but he left. And she says, okay. And she hangs up the phone and she just suffers all night. She trembles, she shivers, she sweats. She's going through withdrawal. And she's got to get her some coke. So, back in Harlem, Blood is waiting. He got the message that Amber called. And so he's waiting, he's waiting till she comes back. He's like cleaning up the house and everything like that. But he didn't clean up everything. Leave it like that. He didn't clean up everything. He just dusted up a little bit, So, now, Rosie, the ambulance came, and they took Rosie to the hospital. She's still alive because she has on this like beehive hairpiece, and the bullets got stuck in the hairpiece. So she's in the hospital, and her brother, Pretty Louie, who's a big-time drug dealer and gangster in Harlem, visits her and wants to know who shot her. And she said, it's EJ, Chang's brother. They killed Underwood. I don't know who the other guy was, but I, begged EJ not to shoot me. And so Louis says, okay. So he tells the bodyguard, because he's in the room with the bodyguard, you watch her because I think they're going to try to come. If they find out that she's still alive, they'll come back and try to kill her, finish the job. She can identify him. So he leaves. So what do you think? Well, it's going to happen. So stay tuned for episode 7. Father Knows